in order for us to submit to the hackathon, we've got a few different documentation that we need to submit. So this is purely just to understand that documentation, and we might go down it a little bit, and then we can finish up. So I'm not going to go into too much depth on it, but I just really want to make sure that we all understand what we're doing, because I want to make sure that we actually win, right? So yeah. So essentially we've got two documents here. I don't think the handbook is important, but it's more like a guide. So essentially the Super Game Jam hired guys who know what they're talking about to try and introduce so they've hired a team. I'm not sure where they're from, but they seem to know what they're talking about when it comes to game theory and mechanics. So it'd be handy to read through this handbook and just understand kind of the terminology that they'll be using. I mean, anyone that's played a video game knows these three things, right? Maybe not dynamics. Let's try and understand what dynamics are. Dynamics create aesthetics. Hang on, yeah. D stands for dynamics, which can be simply understood as actions. These actions are what generates aesthetics, the emotional experience. For example, in a shooting game, players often try to land headshots. Every time they succeed, they feel proud and excited because it reflects their skill level. Okay. I'm still not quite sure why dynamics is there, but read through it, understand it, because the judges and the mentors as well that you'll get an opportunity to talk to are kind of like basing their entire guidelines on stuff like this. So core loop is definitely one of the most important things to be considering when you're building your game. It must always go back to the beginning. If you can't create a loop, then it's not a game and it's got an ending and they'll stop playing. So, I mean, this is a really basic core loop, but essentially, you know, you roll, there's RNG to then decide an event or an outcome, and then you collect, or that outcome resolves, and then in order to continue, you must go again. This isn't a great example of a core loop, but the idea of a core loop is important. Flowchart makes sense, right? This is based on like a Tamagotchi pet feeding game. Check if they're hungry, feed the pet, increase the pet stats. So, I mean, this is pretty basic. I could probably write something better, or ChatGPT could, but for the most part, like, it's important to just understand the absolute basics of the game. And I'm pretty sure everyone in here or everyone listening to this does understand that. So let's just go to the GDD template. So this is a template that you're required to fill out, mainly so that you make sure that you understand what your game is about, and also so that they can understand what your game is about. So here's what I'm going to do. It's perfectly fine to use AI to do this. And that's what we're going to do. I don't think there's any reason for us to be manually typing this kind of stuff out when we should be busy focusing on building the game. So to start off with, we'll just go through each section, and then we might use an example to just build the basic version of this for ourselves. So the introduction is, tell us what the game is about, what's the setting of the game, high-level overview of what the player will do. Think of this as an elevator pitch. And you're pitching to interested investor. Okay. So let's go through the theme and backstory. Essentially, talk about the backstory, which is the I guess, as the narrator, where are you going to start your journey? Where is the player going to start their journey? And how does it continue from that point? So the game is set in a fantasy kingdom where there are magical creatures. The player plays as a creature trainer, taking care of the creatures and training them for battle. And then I guess, so this is our starting point. We've laid out the entire world in 2 sentences. And then we have our narrative. Well, so this is the lore, I guess. And the narrative is, one day, an evil sorcerer woke up deep in the wood, releasing dark miasma. Any creature that touches the miasma goes berserk. Now it's your duty to train your creature and fight back against the evil sorcerer. So we're setting the stage here. We understand the narrative, and we understand our purpose. Genre, I would recommend, once you have completed all of this, put your entire work into ChatGPT and have them decide what your genre is going to be. He's going to be able to best tell you exactly what you're building. Game fantasy. What will the player feel like when they are playing the game? Seek more in the handbill. So I guess this is just a direct message to the reader of what kind of events will the player experience. Is it emotional? Is it a storytelling event? Is it an adventure? Or is it just a direct PvP? What are you tapping into for that person? So the example here is when playing our game, the player will feel like they're actually taking care of real animals. Every creature will have a unique behavior / appearance, so the player can feel like that the creature is real. Playing the game will be a journey for the player and their creatures, and bonds will be created along the way. Okay. It's very straightforward. I'm not sure if I like these examples because we're talking about game fantasy, and then it's very straightforward. But feel free to kind of like use your imagination a little bit and add a bit of flavor to it. Try to impress your readers, but don't take them too far away from the point as well. So the goal, short-term goal, medium-term goal, goal of the game. Short-term goal for any game is like, what are they going to grind on? What are they going to be doing for the next 2 weeks while they're playing your game every single day? Killing creatures, collecting experience, collecting items, all that sort of stuff. Medium-term goal is kind of like, what's their weekly goals? What are they trying to achieve? What the milestones they're trying to hit in order to like power up? So it could be progressing, gearing up to kill a large boss, getting certain items to pass in quests. And your goal of the game is like, how do you finish it? And I think ideally, you don't want a finishing goal. An end boss is good, but you want them to play more and more. So, the final boss generally is the end goal. But if you're playing a multiplayer PvP, the absolute goal of the game is to be the strongest, stay the strongest, and win. So again, core loop is really important. If you don't have a solid core loop, you lose players because they get bored. And so core loop should always upgrade from when they start again. So with any game, I'm not going to use this example, but with any game, you're likely going to have them start off with killing a monster, collecting experience and items, using that experience and items to level up and get stronger, kill monsters again. And that is your core loop, initial core loop. To expand that past an MVP, it would be upgrade, progress through the levels, and then go back, continue grinding. You can make a linear game where it's like there's multiple core loops in each game with collecting experience and leveling up a character, even collecting pets and making them stronger to battle, finding new items to upgrade to either sell or attach to your player. But you've got to have that core loop. It's got to go in a full circle, start from the beginning each time. That's like the dopamine effect. So let's read their example. The player will want to have high attack creatures to clear the main story and complete in ranked matches. To do so, the player can make new eggs by breeding their current creatures. The hatched egg will have unique appearance, combining features from each parent, and its base attack is based on its parent's attack but higher. After hatching the egg, the player must increase its happiness by feeding and training it to increase its attack so that it can win combat, thus earning food. When the creature reaches max level, the player can use it to breed new eggs, creating a new generation. It's technically a core loop. Essentially, they get eggs, they breed their monsters, they go on battle, they get more eggs, they breed, and it continues on. But that would be pretty boring. I mean, it would work for a little bit, but then you get to a point where, like, what are you going to do with all of those eggs and all of those monsters? So the core loop breaks because it gets boring. And so you have to either extend it or create a new loop where maybe you're trashing those monsters, killing them for their essence, like in Power World, and then upgrading your monsters. You know, adding in those additional loops creates a better economy for your game. So features list, taking care of the pet. So essentially, by the way, I'm learning this as I'm going with you guys. I haven't done any pre-reading. We're learning together. So yeah, there can be multiple features. So essentially, they're kind of like write out each of the features. I don't think that's required because there's so many features in the game. And you don't want to burn yourself out. Honestly, this whole game theory isn't really practical. We're going to go through it, but it's yeah, I don't particularly want to do this. I would much rather just build my game. So feature name 1 is taking care of the pet. A short introduction of the feature. Make sure they're happy, well fed, and train them like a Tamagotchi, making sure that all their meters are at maximum. Purpose of the feature, I guess for this one, it would be to feed them, take care of them, and also upgrade them later by breeding them. Maybe there's a happiness meter where they can only breed if they are happy. UI presentation. Flowchart. Mechanic. Okay. Feature name 2. That's crazy. So they want a UI for every feature? No way. So definitely like include wireframes for how you're going to build your game. You certainly don't have to do it within every feature. But this is basically what the wireframe would look like for you taking care of the pet. The flowchart, you can easily have ChatGPT generate this as well. Mechanics, again, honestly, here's what we're going to do. So it's just going to build it for me. The thing is, you know how you're going to build your game and you know what you need to do. So as long as you are actively talking within any kind of AI LLM about your game, it's going to be able to do it for you. And it's not cheating. At the end of the day, you guys need to spend time building the game. 1 month to build a game and do game theory isn't very practical. Just make sure it's correct, because this isn't right. Oh yeah, he's actually PBE, yeah. So the first feature of my game is my PBE Endless Combat. Second feature is PvP. And third is my armory and equipment. So I was able to do this because ChatGPT has infinite memory, and I always share my ideas in ChatGPT. And so now I'm able to just generate an entire document. That so good. So I mean, this it's now just making stuff up here, because we've never spoken about 8 unique characters, and it's a little bit different from my current build. So I would just edit that and update it. But yeah, this is pretty much everything you need. Fuck writing anything out, just cheat. So now I basically have my entire GDD. Yeah. So obviously, use ChatGPT. I think for the most part, you can use it as a free version and still have infinite memory, or even just in that page that you're working in, and then just put in as much of your game stuff as you can. Even have conversations with him about how you want to build your game, and when you're ready, have it just print out the entire document for you. So my prompt was simple: use a below build. It wasn't even well written on my GDD on my game. Build me my GDD on my game, the Obelisk Paradox. It knows this, and so it was able to build the entire thing out. So I'm not going to do anything more on this workshop, because that's done. There's no need to waste time on it. But if you guys have questions, you can ask. Oh, there's a page break. I can't see. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? And have you already got an understanding of what your game is going to be? Yeah? Cool. Have you written out anything? Personally, I don't think it's relevant, but at the same time, we have to kind of do it. So spend the time to putting the game design together and then just generate it. You know what you're doing, right? And the thing is, what's going to happen most definitely is the game is going to change at some point because maybe a certain mechanic is too difficult to do. And so you basically need to abolish it and rewrite that mechanic so it's easier. So like the game design isn't going to be a Bible at all. You don't have to stick to it, generate it, save it, and then just work as you go. And if you are working within Cursor or any LLM, you can say, read my code base. This is my original game design. What has changed in my code base that we need to update in the game design? And it will just automatically re-update it. Like take as many shortcuts as you can so you can spend more time building your game.